I probably got a dozen and a half coon traps in here.
So what are we trapping today?
Beaver and otter.
What is that?
Caster. What about caster from Beavers? Want to smell it?
No. Not at all.
Definitely fresh from this year. Ought to do pretty good.
What else can you use besides that? Like say you don't get a beaver and you want to use something else.
I generally just switch casters from different areas.
Can you buy that stuff if you had to buy it?
You can buy it.
Okay.
I trap enough to where it just saves a lot of money to keep it myself, and it actually goes for a pretty good price selling it. But I generally don't sell it and use it up for myself. And
what exactly is the caster like on a beaver?
Stuff that smells bad.
Well, yeah, where do they get that from?
It's right here. It's in a couple sacks, and I just know it's put it down. Beavers get real territorial, and then they basically smell this. Smells like another beaver's in there trying to move in, and they don't even think about it. They just instantly go in the trap and game over.
Let's get them.
This is basically just an overflow on this lake up here. It drains into a creek. I'd say about a quarter-mile down is a bigger river. Them otters and beavers use this as a crossover to travel to the bigger water. I've trapped this spot before. It's maybe a little slow the first couple days till we get some rain coming. And whenever we get that water rise and they'll run up and down it and should have some beavers.
One of the worst things for your ponds, obviously, are otters and beavers. So Brent's done this a long time, so we're gonna learn how to trap today. He's done really good, helped me out a lot, getting a lot of these beavers and otters out of here over I don't know how many years now.
What's the fiberglass pole for?
Just double hold down the weights, because the weights is enough to keep them down, but then they can still go sideways and get up on the bank. Because this is just deep enough to
Hold them under.
hold them under, but they can still crawl on the bottom, get to the side. So I just sewed in for just to do the right thing, so it can't crawl up and suffer.
Go ahead and touch it. See what happens.
Do a demonstration real quick?
Yeah.
Put a stick in it.
Actually, I do. Try not to do your hand.
You fold this out, then you can play with all this, and it'll go off, but it won't hit your hand.
Now, obviously, we don't have freezing temps right now, but if you had freezing temperatures and this water froze up, would you put it on dry land then, or is that kind of your game
You
plan?
can't stick it on dry land legally.
Yeah.
These all got to be water sets. And the reason for that is the trap's so big. You got to keep it under the water, and it's got to be on a drown slide or set. So pretty much.
So when the water's frozen, you don't trap essentially?
I try to just for the enjoyment of it, but it's honestly more of a fight. Every day breaking ice and keeping things open and trying, and a lot of resetting sets. And
Gotcha.
And generally, when beavers and otters seem to like to move in a little bit warmer weather. Seems like anytime it rains, it's above 40 degrees, they're going to move a lot better than freezing temperatures. Whenever I make this, I don't do nothing special. I put it in a blender, and that's all, nothing added to it.
Don't use your wife's blender either.
You can, you just might not be happy. In this stuff, actually, you can't hardly read my writing, but whenever I make my caster, this is actually from probably 30 minutes from here. So none of these beavers have ever smelled it. Another thing I do is I like to use the caster out of the biggest beavers. I don't know if it's something about it, but it seems like if I use caster from big beavers, I catch the bigger beavers. And,
So you just dip some on a stick and threw it up there, right above the trap, essentially right up here on a stick.
And which I'm predicting that the water is probably going to come up to here. Night, it generally don't get no lower than this.
That one's set.
Yep, that one's ready to go. Move on to the next one.
And you gotta check these every 24 hours.
Yep.
So it's nice to have them close where you can easily check them.
Yep.
Right.
And yeah, this spot pretty good, probably 50% catch ratio on beaver and otter. Normally get about 4 or 5 sets out of it. So you can tell that's an otter track. It more looks like a cat print compared to a coon. They're pretty similar to a coon, but I mean, he's a decent sized one. So that's his back foot. Now on this, naturally they're gonna swim the easiest route. They ain't gonna go around that way where that little structure is. So I'll put a 330 right here, and we'll catch them swimming through.
What do you got there?
This is a 330.
Who makes them?
I got a few different brands. This is a Duke. It's a proven fact. You not stick your hand in them. They hurt. Generally happens to me about once or twice a year.
So they swim through and hit those little barbs, and that's what triggers it, right?
Yep. It sets it off, which right now I got the safeties on.
Right.
Want to keep them on till
you're done?
Yep, get it completely where you want it. Take them safeties off, never forget your safeties. Nothing like coming to a trap the next day and it's set off and nothing in it just because you forgot.
So that's so they don't drag your trap off, right?
Yep, the trap instantly kill them and that just hangs on to it.
Trying to create some structure so they don't swim around it?
Yeah, just make it a little bit more convincing. Because I like to put what I call a dive stick, even though this ain't much of a dive set, over it just to break up that square look. Make it look a little more natural, nothing special. So that's basically it. I don't put no scent down or anything, just this is a good enough natural runway for them that it ought to do the trick.
So you're just making a runway?
Yep, just making it more presentable. Decent otter catch. Looks like they've been eating some mussels. Just to demonstrate the 330 a little better. It's kind of like a scissor action. Right now my springs are set, and if I can get it, you just go like that, squeeze them together. Okay. Safeties are on, and what I got here is a setter. Always paint them bright, any bright color you can find, or else you'll lose them. But that just hooks there, that hooks there. They make a bunch of different style setters, but this is the one I personally found my favorite. Pull up on it, put your safety on. Ready to go again. The setter's actually pulls the spring together. Here's your spring, and then like right now it's got it to where you can't open it up to set it. Then you go like that. Oop. I'm gonna set a couple traps here, and we will have a beaver on this one. That's one of the bigger caster mounds I've seen. Yep, that's a caster mound. They push them leaves up there, mound them up. They let the caster out on it.
When you say caster, that's just a scent from their...
Yep, that's their... I honestly don't know. I'm calling it their territorial gland. That's all I know about it, and that's what it acts as. So I just know another beaver smells a different caster on top of this caster mound, they will come unglued.
What do you got there?
Oh, a rotor. When it comes to trapping, you use what you got. And, oh, that ain't no good, so I'm just gonna add it onto there. And the reason I'm putting a little bit more weight on this one compared to that one is that one has current to hold them down. This one is dead calm, and that's a pretty good sized caster mount. I'm kind of curious on what's there, so adding this little bit extra weight definitely keep them down. It never hurts to have it.
You've got some big beavers out of here.
I have. I think this one last year, I don't think I really caught anything over 60 pounds, but the year before pulled a couple close to 80 out.
Another guy that trapped this one time caught a 90-pounder out of here.
Yep, that's a big beaver. So hopefully we had that luck, which we've been keeping it in check every year, so we may not catch as big of ones, but.
And there you're just tying on more weight.
Yep.
To your already weights. And that trap is called a...
This is a bridger. Number 5, special number 5. been pretty good, actually. About one of my favorites so far that I've tried. To me, the best time to trap is anytime before rain, during a rain, especially if the creek's coming up or river's coming up. Like beavers hear that running water noise and it just drives them crazy. They feel like they need to plug every little waterway off that's running out.
What about for otters?
Otter, I like it whenever the water's coming up, because like right now the creek's kind of low, so they like to swim, and they can't quite swim up and down as easy. They'll still travel it, but it seems like you get a rain and then they like to play and just swim around, flip around, and so I'd say that's about my favorite time.
So right before a rain or during one?
Before, during, any time. It just seems like whenever it's
well,
either
and after too, if the water's rising.
Yeah, anytime that water's moving, doing something different, they seem to be more active. When the water's just sitting there for a few weeks, not doing a whole lot, you'll still catch stuff, but nothing like after a rain or when the water's up.
Really?
This trap actually has a night latch. If it rolls over, I'm gonna wait to set it off though till I... The caster here is the most important part. The reason that beavers put these caster mounds down is to mark their territory, and well, now I'm putting a different beaver's caster down, so they think a different beaver's moving in saying it's his territory, and I can almost guarantee this one's gonna have one in the morning. Don't think a whole lot.
And right there is the trap.
Trap's right there. Not
See
really.
a little pad under the water there. So what kind of trap do we got there?
This is just your common dog proof. I always stick them on stakes. The stake may be a little big. A lot of people like to tie them off to roots or small trees, which I've had problems with them. These traps have been used a lot. This is a newer one.
And we're trapping coons, we should say.
Yes, this is 4 coons. Little soft there, but that'll hold them. You set the trap away from everything, so when that coon's trying to get out, it don't have nothing to grab on and slip its pole out. And then one thing I noticed, it's very helpful. I like to use a little bigger chunks. A lot of people use just tuna and stuff you buy from the store. And that tuna, them mice actually get in there and dig them out. Or a coon, possum, skunk, they'll stick their beak in there and they'll slurp them out. So I like to...
What is that, fish? Or what is it?
This is trimmings off the catfish catch during the summer that I skin out. So I just save all the, what I'd call the bad stuff. And then I mix a can of mackerel with it and brine. Something about that mackerel they really like.
And that's it. This is what you like to find.
Yep, for setting steel traps, which is, like this one's a number 2. I like to dig all that soft stuff back, just get down to solid base. So when that trap's sitting there, it's solid.
So this is a leg trap.
Yep, this is just your common steel trap. It's a 4 coil number 2, I believe. Coons don't care as much about the scent as, you know, your coyotes or anything, but
Trying to blend it in.
yeah, blend it in. I kind of like smushing some up there to make it solid. If they step down, they feel something that ain't right, then they'll just back out. Like I said, it's not near as important as a coyote set, but the trap's right there.
So there you're just making a hole close to the trap?
Yep.
And then putting the stuff
Right
in
there.
it?
Naturally, they don't want to step on this, so they're going to step right there where that trap's out. Got a hole, they may come in from this way, but they'll be digging and be stepping around. I like to catch them with the back leg. Little juices down there.
Yeah, what happened?
This one, my fault. I set it off to the side. I should have had it where his poles was gonna go. I was just not thinking there. Won't be an issue.
So
he definitely come back and redone his caster man.
Yep, he set it off too, didn't he?
Put it on that left side. Right here on this 330, you can see we got a track right there. You can see where he come up this
He went
side.
right around it, didn't he?
Yep. 'Cause this stuff was fluffed up a little better yesterday, and
Yeah.
I guess being wet. So all I'm gonna do is make it real simple.
So you're fencing off both sides of it?
Yeah. All right. Go ahead. Over here, we got
We got an otter, you said?
an otter and a drown set.
Sweet.
Okay. I'd say he's probably about average size.
Looks like the best kind of otter there is.
Yeah, as much damage as they do.
The dead one.
Nice male.
These are the destroyers of your ponds. Did you say we had some
There is, I know a
some
coon.
coons in some of these traps?
Yeah, let me find my bait.
Come over, dude. Time to reset it.
I'm gonna go ahead and pull this one
Okay.
and move it since there's a little bit more blood than normal. Probably just go ahead and stick it up here on this run.
Does that matter? It's got a little blood on the trap itself.
No, and the blood don't hurt completely. It's, I just know it is better to avoid it.
Boy, anybody could do these traps. I mean, they're
Yeah.
super quick and
If you had a bad coon problem, which I'm assuming everybody does,
yeah.
you can set 100 of these in a day and really get the population under control.
Just gotta remember, you gotta check them every 24 hours.
Yep, every day.
Every day.
And the earlier the better, that way they ain't sitting in the trap all day waiting.
Yep.
Alrighty.
Let's go check the others. Coon. So a coon and an otter
Coon and an otter.
from night one. And the beaver set off this one.
Yeah.
Should get another crack at it.
We'll get the beaver tomorrow. Generally, otters run in pairs, So I'm just gonna assume there's gonna be another otter in it tomorrow. But only one way to find out, and that's time.
Got a little extra rain last night, didn't we?
We did. A little more than expected, but that's all right. I think it only done harm to one trap, and that's in the spillway, which I think will be all right. But we did catch a otter over here.
In case people don't know, what do otters do to a pond or any water?
They basically eat every fish out of it. It's almost like they do it for fun.
And sometimes they don't even eat them.
No.
They just kill them.
Drag them up on bank. This is a pretty nice one. Another male.
Another big male.
Well, that's a good sign. Caught a male yesterday. Normally they run in family groups, and that means there's still more. Hopefully we can get them caught.
The limit on these are
Five a person.
5 a person.
Yep. Really expecting one out here, but
You set a trap out here and look what you got.
Yep.
Looks like a nice big beaver.
Nice back leg catch. About 25 pounds. Huh. See where another beaver come by and chewed on his back.
He got that whole trap all mixed up, didn't he?
Yeah, what happened was the trap was set there and I threw the weights over what is actually a rock ledge, and it got caught on trying to pull it in. So I had to kind of fish him out with some poles, but we got him.